All right, let's talk about Naval Ravikant. He is one of the sharpest thinkers out there, and today we're going to distill his best ideas into a clear playbook. A playbook for two things we're all after: wealth and, of course, happiness. So, first things first, we've got to tackle a huge problem. So many of us are working incredibly hard. We're climbing that ladder or trying to win. But what if it's the wrong game entirely? What if the prize we're chasing isn't what we actually want? I mean, you know the drill. Society gives us this roadmap from day one. Go to school, get the job, chase the promotion, and then, once you have all that success, you'll finally be happy. It's this idea that success causes happiness. But what if that whole equation is completely backwards? And here is our first big clue that our thinking might be a little off. Naval points out that our own mindset could be the thing holding us back. If deep down you think wealthy people are greedy or that money is the root of all evil, you're basically programming yourself to avoid it. The real work doesn't start with what you do, it starts with what you believe. Okay, so this brings us to what Naval says is the most critical skill you can develop. And it's not learning some new strategy or life hack. No, it's actually the much, much harder task of unlearning all the broken ideas we've been taught our whole lives. And this quote just nails it, right? Adding new information is easy. The really hard part is having the guts to say, wait a minute, maybe this entire mountain I've been climbing is the wrong one. It's about being willing to go all the way back to the beginning and start with a totally new map. And here's what that unlearning looks like in practice. On one side, you've got the standard advice. Get a job, work for a salary, basically rent out your time. Naval's playbook says no. You need to own equity, a piece of a business. And forget follow your passion, that can change from day to day. Instead, find your obsession. Find that thing that you can't stop thinking about, the thing that feels like play to you but looks like work to everybody else. So let's build on that idea of owning equity. This brings us to the first pillar of our playbook. We have to completely redefine what wealth is for. It's not about buying more stuff or fancy cars. It's about buying something way more valuable. Look, here's the bottom line. Treating your time for money is a trap. It's a game you just can't win because there are only so many hours in a day. The only way to true financial freedom is to break that link between your input and your output. You have to go from being a gear in the machine to owning a piece of the machine. So how in the world do you do that? The magic word, the key concept, is leverage. Think of leverage as a force multiplier. It's what lets you take 1 hour of work or one good decision and get 1,000 hours of results from it. Now, in the old days, leverage meant capital, having money, or labor, having people work for you. And for both of those, you needed someone's permission. But the internet created two new types of leverage that are permissionless, and this is the game changer. That's code and media. You can write a piece of software or create a piece of content, and it can work for you 24/7, reaching millions of people while you're literally sleeping. Okay, so you've used leverage to build wealth. You have freedom. But that doesn't just hand you happiness on a silver platter. And that brings us to the second pillar of the playbook. According to Naval, happiness isn't a destination you arrive at. It's a skill you have to practice. This quote from Jerzy Gregorek, who was a big influence on Naval, just sums it up perfectly. Every day you face these choices. The easy choice is to eat the junk food, to endlessly scroll on your phone, to react angrily. The hard choice is to do the workout, to put the phone down, to respond with patience. All those little hard choices, they compound over time into a much, much easier life. And that's really the core of it. Happiness is an internal job. It's not something you get from the outside world. It's like building muscle at the gym. You can't just show up one day and decide to be strong. You have to train consistently. Same thing with your mind. You have to train it to be peaceful. So this is the big question, right? It all sounds great in theory, but what do you do? How do you actually go about practicing this skill? Well, Naval gives us 3 simple, practical steps. First, just watch your thoughts. Don't get caught up in them. Just notice them, like clouds passing in the sky. Second, realize that every desire you have is basically a contract you sign with yourself to be unhappy until you get it. The less you want, the more peaceful you'll be. And third, be present. Almost all of our suffering comes from regretting the past or feeling anxious about the future. Peace can only be found right here, in this moment. Okay, so let's tie this all together. We've got wealth, which buys you freedom, and we've got happiness, which is a skill you practice. Naval wraps all of this up in one final, powerful idea: seeing life as a series of games. Think about it. Whether you know it or not, you're playing games all the time. The status game on social media, the money game at work. The first step is just to see the game for what it is. Because once you can see the games you're playing, you can consciously choose which ones are actually worth your energy and which ones you're ready to quit. And this is the whole point. This is the big reveal. You don't play the money game just to pile up cash. You play the money game to get to a point where you never have to think about money again. You win the game to earn your freedom from the game. So, winning isn't about some final level or high score. Winning means you've earned the ability to just put the controller down and walk away. It means you've reached a state where you can just be present, at peace, and totally, completely free. And so I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Let's say you got it all. You won. You achieved all the success you're chasing right now. Would you actually be free? Or would you just find yourself playing another, maybe fancier, game? The answer to that question tells you everything you need to know.